They laughed. They scoffed. They thought you'd beg. They thought you'd fall to your knees, broken, defeated, begging for mercy. They saw you as nothing more than a whisper in the wind, destined to disappear. But now they're begging for your attention. They're begging for a chance to witness your rise, to feel the weight of the power you've unearthed, a power they thought didn't exist in you. You've been told you won't make it. You've been told you're not enough. The world threw obstacles in your path like stones, hoping they would break your spirit. The doubters and naysayers were loud and clear, feeding you their doubts, drowning you in their negativity. They thought you'd crumble under their pressure. They thought you'd wither away, that you'd never find the strength to rise. They looked at you and saw weakness. They saw nothing but a victim. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still moving. And the truth they never saw is that every scar, every tear, every setback only made you stronger. The battles you fought in silence, the pain you endured without a single word, they thought that would be your end. But it wasn't. You are here, and you are not finished. You are only just beginning. You've been knocked down so many times you've lost count. Each blow felt like it might be your last. Each failure, each rejection, each betrayal, each moment when you were left to face the world alone. They told you it was over, that you weren't strong enough to go on. But it wasn't over. No, it wasn't. Every fall was a lesson. Every scar was a testament to your resilience. Every tear was a reminder that your spirit would not be broken. You kept getting back up. You kept moving forward, even when every part of you screamed to stop. The pain, it was real. The loneliness, it was suffocating, but none of it was enough to take you down. You were knocked down, yes, but you were never out. And while you fought through it all, there were those who doubted you, those who tried to break you even further. They didn't see you for what you truly were. They saw you as weak. They saw you as a target. They thought they could crush your spirit, bury you beneath the weight of their words and expectations. The world, with its impossible standards, tried to make you feel like you didn't belong. Society looked at you and whispered that you weren't good enough, that you would never make it, that you would never rise above. But they didn't know the truth. They didn't know the fire that burned inside of you, a fire so fierce and so untamable that it would never be extinguished. They thought you were a flickering flame, ready to die out at the slightest breeze. They were wrong. You were a phoenix, rising from the ashes, reborn and unbreakable. They had no idea who they were dealing with. In this moment, you are the warrior, unseen, underestimated, yet powerful beyond measure. You are the fighter, like those before you, who faced impossible odds and overcame them. You are the one who will be remembered not for how many times you fell, but for how many times you stood up and kept fighting. The world thought you would fade away, but they never realized that the fire within you was never meant to be snuffed out. It was meant to burn brighter than ever before, and now you will show them. There came a moment, an inevitable moment, when everything seemed to fall apart. It wasn't just a single setback. It was the culmination of all the betrayals, all the disappointments, and all the pain you had carried for so long. It was the tipping point. The moment when you thought you couldn't take one more step. They turned their backs on you. The very people you trusted, the ones you thought would be there, abandoned you. You were left alone, with nothing but the weight of your struggles pressing down on you. The silence was deafening, louder than any noise you had ever heard. It was the silence of isolation, the silence that made you question everything. You were forced to wander through the desert, alone. There was no hand to reach out for, no voice to guide you, no one to tell you that you would make it. You were left to pick up the pieces of a shattered dream, with no one to help, no one to believe in you. The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and for a moment it felt unbearable. The very people who should have been there were gone. You were deserted, stranded in a place where hope seemed distant, where the road ahead was shrouded in darkness. In that moment, when it seemed like there was no way out, the enemy's voice was loud. They told you it was over. They said you were nothing. They thought you would crumple under the pressure, that you would give up and admit defeat. But you didn't. You kept moving forward, even when it seemed impossible. They thought that this was your breaking point, the moment when you would fall, never to rise again. But they were wrong. You are stronger than they ever thought. You are more resilient than they ever gave you credit for. And that moment, the moment they thought would end you, was actually the moment that began your true transformation. They thought they knew you. They thought they understood what you were made of. They watched, waiting for the moment you would crumble, for the moment when the weight of their betrayal would break you. They thought you'd beg for a handout, that you'd fall to your knees, pleading for their mercy, for their approval. They believed that the crushing weight of their abandonment would destroy you, that you would beg for their forgiveness, desperate to regain what they had taken from you. They expected you to stay down, to accept the narrative they had written for you, that you were weak, that you were unworthy of anything more. But they were wrong, so wrong, because while they were waiting for you to beg, you were growing. While they thought you would break, you were becoming unbreakable. The very moment they thought would bury you became the catalyst for your transformation. They pushed you into the fire, and they thought it would consume you. But instead, it forged you into something stronger, something they could never anticipate. They thought you were just a victim to their actions. But you were always more than that. Now you stand before them, unbowed, unbroken, and unrecognizable to the people who once saw you as nothing. You are no longer the person they thought they could control. You are not the one who will beg for their approval. No, now it's them who will beg for your attention. Now it's them who will come crawling, hoping to share in your success, hoping to witness the power they never saw within you. But by then, it will be too late. They will see the strength that was always inside you, but they will only see it from a distance. You have moved beyond their reach, and they will never truly understand what they missed, what they underestimated. And now, they will feel the consequences of underestimating you. In the deepest darkness, when it seemed like the world had forgotten you, when the weight of it all threatened to drown you, something extraordinary happened. You found your spark. You found the light that had been buried within you all along, waiting for the right moment to ignite. In the pain, in the struggle, in the endless nights of doubt and uncertainty, you unknowingly forged the strength that now courses through your veins. Every battle you fought, every moment when you thought you couldn't go on, was shaping you, refining you into something more than you ever imagined. For so long, you were too caught up in the fight to see what was happening to you. You were consumed with survival, with the next step, with the next obstacle. But now when you look back, you see it clearly. Every hardship, every tear, every betrayal was not a sign of weakness. It was a step toward your awakening. You were not being broken, you were being built. The storm that you thought was tearing you apart was actually the storm that would forge your greatness. And in that moment of realization, you see the truth. You are not weak. You are not defeated. You are not the person they tried to make you believe you were. You are the storm they never saw coming. You are the force they never expected to rise from the ashes. The very things that tried to destroy you were actually the very things that created the strength inside of you. You are more than they could ever imagine. You are unstoppable, and you are just getting started. This is your awakening. This is the moment when you stop questioning your worth, when you stop doubting your ability to succeed. The power that has always been inside you is now fully realized, and nothing can stand in your way. The world tried to dim your light, but now you are the one who will shine brighter than ever before. You are not meant to crawl in the shadows. You are not meant to hide, to shrink away from the light, to let your potential be buried under the weight of fear and doubt. No, you were meant for something greater. You were meant to rise, to soar like the eagle that knows no limits, that ascends to heights others can only dream of. The pain you've felt, the struggles you've endured, these are not chains meant to keep you down. They are the wings that will carry you to the sky. Every scar you bear, every hardship you've faced, is the wind beneath your wings, pushing you higher, propelling you toward greatness. You are not meant to fade into the background, to be a fleeting shadow passing through life unnoticed. You are meant to ignite a fire that no one, no force in this world can ever extinguish. You are the blaze that cannot be tamed, the flame that burns brighter with every trial you face. Where others see destruction, you see fuel for the fire. The darkness that once terrified you is now the very thing that feeds your strength. You were never meant to cower in fear. You were meant to turn that fear into courage, to face the storms with your head held high, knowing that every storm you conquer only makes you stronger. You are the rising sun, casting away the night with your brilliance. Your light is unstoppable, uncontainable, and undeniable. Every time they tried to dim you, every time they tried to hold you back, you only became more powerful. Your fire cannot be extinguished. It will burn hotter, it will blaze brighter, and it will scorch everything that stands in your way. The world will see you now, not as a whisper, not as a shadow, but as the fierce force you were always meant to be. Your transformation is complete, and now you rise. You rise, and nothing can stop you. They thought you'd crawl. They thought you'd beg for scraps, hoping someone would throw you a bone, hoping that in their mercy you might survive. They believed that your fight would eventually tire you, that your spirit would break, and that you'd remain dependent on their judgment, waiting for their approval. They thought you would always be the one who looked up to them, always on your knees, always begging for a chance. But now, the tables have turned. You are no longer the one who seeks approval. You are the one who commands attention. You are the one they now look to, desperate for your recognition, desperate for your approval. Where once you were the beggar, now you are the ruler. You hold the power. You hold the keys to your own destiny. They see your strength, your unyielding resolve, and they know, deep down, they will never have the control they once thought they held over you. They are now begging for your attention. They are begging for the very thing they once denied you: respect, recognition, the acknowledgement of your worth. They want to be in your presence, to bask in the glow of your success, to share in the power they once thought you could never achieve. But you will not give it to them so easily. You are the one in charge now. You decide who earns your favor. You decide who gets to share in your victory. And the truth is, you don't need them. You never did. This is your moment. The moment when the world sees you for who you truly are. The moment when the people who once dismissed you must now look up to you, hoping to be a part of your journey, hoping to be in the orbit of your power. They may beg for your attention, but they can never have what you now command. You are in control of your own fate, and no one can ever take that away from you again. You stand at the summit now. The climb was long. The path was brutal. You bled, you cried, you stumbled. But now you stand at the very top, and the world looks up at you in awe. They look up because they see the strength, the power, the resilience that you've cultivated through every trial, every loss, every betrayal. The same people who once doubted you, the ones who thought you wouldn't make it, the ones who laughed at your dreams. They wish they could have been there with you, watching you rise. They wish they could have been part of your journey, part of your victory. But it's too late. You've risen beyond them. You are now part of a legacy, one that cannot be ignored. You are like the great figures who were once underestimated, only to rise and change the world. Think of Nelson Mandela, a man once imprisoned, scorned, and broken by a system that thought he could never be more than a prisoner. But he emerged, stronger, wiser, and led a nation to freedom. Think of Oprah Winfrey, a woman who was told she would never make it, who faced abuse, poverty, and rejection, only to rise to become one of the most influential voices in history. Think of Maya Angelou, whose voice was silenced by the cruelty of the world, but whose words became the anthem of resilience, power, and grace. They all faced rejection, they all faced adversity, but they knew their worth, and now, so do you. Now you stand in that same place, at the top, having transcended every obstacle, every voice of doubt, every attempt to suppress your greatness. You are beyond them, beyond the people who once tried to define you, beyond the people who thought you'd fall. They will never understand the fire that burned inside of you. They will never know the journey it took for you to get here. But that's not your concern. What matters now is that you have claimed your place. You have risen, and there is nothing and no one that can ever take this moment from you. They underestimated you, but that was their mistake. They saw you as nothing more than a casualty of life's battles, a person who would fall in the face of adversity. But what they never understood was that every storm you weathered, every obstacle you overcame, only made you stronger. You fought through the darkness. You clawed your way out of the pit they tried to bury you in, and now you stand victorious. The world will know your name. They will know your story. The same people who turned their backs on you will now have no choice but to watch as you rise, as you take your place among the giants, the warriors, the ones who proved that no matter how many times you are knocked down, you can and will rise again. You've earned this victory. You've earned the right to sit at the table, to claim your place in the spotlight. This is no longer a dream. This is your reality, the success you've fought for, the recognition you've longed for. It is yours, and no one can take it from you. Your pain has been transformed into power. Your struggle has become your success. Every tear, every moment of doubt, every setback has been the very fuel that has driven you forward. You are no longer the victim in this story. You are the victor. The world that once overlooked you now stands in awe of your strength, your resilience, and your ability to rise from the ashes. Your victory is not just for you. It is a testament to anyone who has ever been told they weren't enough. It is a message to the world that no one, no matter how hard they try to break you, can ever take away what is rightfully yours. Now, as you stand at the pinnacle of your success, you can look back and see how far you've come. You've earned this moment. You've fought for it. And now, it's yours. The taste of triumph is sweet, and it is yours to savor. No one can ever take away what you've built. The world will know your name, and they will never forget it. They are now watching as you walk into your future. The very people who once doubted you, who once thought you would never make it, are now left in your wake. They can only watch as you rise, as you continue to move forward with a strength and determination they never thought possible. They are witnesses to your journey, but they are not in control anymore. You hold the power now. They cannot stop you. They never could. They tried to hold you down, to break your spirit, to convince you that you were not worthy. They underestimated the force within you, the strength that had always been there, waiting for the right moment to unleash itself. And now, they see it. They see the fire that burns within you, the unstoppable drive that propels you toward your future. It is a force so powerful, so unrelenting, that nothing and no one can stand in your way. You are unstoppable. The obstacles they placed in front of you, you've shattered them. The doubt they planted in your mind, You've cast it aside like dust in the wind, the fear that once paralyzed you. You've turned it into the fuel that drives you forward. You are no longer the person who hesitated, who second-guessed, who feared the unknown. You are the person who walks boldly into your destiny, knowing that there is nothing that can stop you from achieving everything you've ever dreamed of. Now the world must look on in awe as you take your place among the few who dared to believe in their own power. The people who doubted you are nothing compared to the force you have become. You have unlocked the potential that was always inside you, and now there is no turning back. The future is yours to command, and as you walk into it, you know one undeniable truth. You are unstoppable. The world thought you'd beg. They thought they'd see you grovel for the scraps they threw your way. But now they're begging for your attention. They're begging for a piece of what you've earned. They wish they could be a part of the greatness you are creating. But it's too late for them. It's your time now. Rise up. Stand tall. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The door you once thought was closed. It's wide open. Walk through it. Don't hesitate. Don't look back. You've fought too hard to let fear or doubt hold you back now. You are equipped with everything you need to take that next step. The world will try to make you doubt yourself. Don't let them. You know your worth now. You know your strength. It's time to take what's yours. Your time is now. You are not the one who will beg. You are the one who will conquer. You are the one who will shape the future with your own hand. The world will see you, not as a victim, not as someone who had to ask for permission, but as someone who took their place, who earned their right to lead, to inspire, to be remembered. Now go and make them see it. Make them see the power you've always had. You are unstoppable. Now let the world witness your rise.